Have you ever felt completely drained after a conversation with someone who always turns everything into being about them? Perhaps you know someone who can twist your words, make you question your own reality, and leave you feeling smaller than when the interaction began. If so, you've likely encountered a narcissist and you've experienced firsthand the invisible chains they use to control those around them. Welcome back to another exploration of practical Stoic wisdom. Today, we're diving into one of the most requested topics: how to protect yourself from narcissistic manipulation using the timeless principles taught by Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca. More specifically, we'll reveal 4 powerful sentences that can completely dismantle a narcissist's control over you. But here's what makes this approach different from typical advice. We're not just going to give you clever comebacks or ways to win arguments. The Stoics teach us something far more profound: how to reclaim your inner fortress, establish unshakable boundaries, and render manipulation powerless through the strength of your own character. By the end of this video, you'll understand not just what to say, but why these words work, and how they align with ancient Stoic principles that have helped countless people maintain their peace and dignity in the face of toxic behavior. So let's begin this journey towards psychological freedom. Before we reveal these 4 powerful sentences, we need to understand what we're dealing with. The Stoics were keen observers of human nature, and they recognized that certain people are driven by an insatiable need for external validation and control. A narcissist operates from a place of deep insecurity, masked by grandiosity. They need your emotional reaction. They feed on your attention, your anger, your defense, your explanation, and especially your doubt. When you try to defend yourself, you're playing their game. When you get angry, they've won. When you question your own perception, they've achieved their ultimate goal. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the key to everything we'll discuss today. The narcissist's power is an illusion that only works when you forget this fundamental truth. Epictetus taught that we should distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. A narcissist's behavior, their opinions, their manipulations, these are not within your control. But your responses, your boundaries, your inner peace, these belong entirely to you. Now, let's explore the 4 sentences that can sever the narcissist's hold over you. The first powerful sentence is deceptively simple. I'm not going to discuss this anymore. This sentence embodies what Stoics call discipline of assent, the practice of deciding what deserves your mental energy and what doesn't. When you state this calmly and firmly, you're not being rude or dismissive. You're exercising your fundamental right to protect your mental space. Here's why this destroys a narcissist's power. Their entire manipulation strategy relies on keeping you engaged. They want circular arguments that go nowhere. They want to exhaust you with endless debates about reality itself. When you refuse to participate, you've pulled the rug out from under them. Notice the wording. I'm not going to rather than I can't or I don't want to. This is crucial. You're not making an excuse or opening a negotiation. You're stating a decision you've already made. This reflects the Stoic principle of acting from your rational, governing mind rather than reacting from emotion. A narcissist will typically respond to this sentence with escalation. They might accuse you of being dismissive, unreasonable, or cruel. They might say, "So, you won't even talk to me now." This is the trap. Your job is not to defend your decision. Simply repeat the sentence. If necessary, then disengage. Seneca reminds us, "The wise man is neither harmed by poverty, nor by pain, nor by any other things which turn others away from virtue and happiness." Apply this wisdom here. You cannot be harmed by someone's disapproval when you're anchored in your own principles. Practice this sentence before you need it. Say it in front of a mirror. Feel the strength in claiming your right to end conversations that don't serve you. This isn't about controlling the narcissist, it's about exercising sovereignty over your own attention and energy. The second sentence seems counterintuitive, even paradoxical. You may be right. I can already hear some of you thinking, wait, doesn't that give them what they want? This is where we need to understand the Stoic concept of indifference to external opinions. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." When you say you may be right, you're not conceding the argument, you're transcending it entirely. This sentence destroys a narcissist's power Because they're expecting resistance, they've prepared their entire arsenal for your defense. When you offer none, they're left shadowboxing with air. The key is in how you deliver this sentence. It must come from genuine indifference, not sarcasm or passive aggression. You're essentially saying, your opinion about me is not my concern. This is the ultimate expression of Stoic detachment. Let me give you a practical example. A narcissist says, "You're too sensitive. You always overreact to everything." Instead of defending yourself, explaining why you're not sensitive, or providing examples of times you didn't overreact, of which give them more ammunition, simply respond, "You may be right." What happens next is fascinating. The narcissist has nowhere to go. They wanted your defensiveness, your explanation, your emotional reaction. Your calm indifference is incomprehensible to them because it demonstrates that their judgment holds no power over your self-perception. Epictetus taught, if someone criticizes you, agree with them immediately. Say, if you knew me better, you'd have more to criticize. This ancient wisdom recognized that our egos need to be right is often our greatest weakness. When you say you may be right, you're practicing what Stoics call premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. You've already decided that someone's negative opinion of you cannot disturb your inner tranquility. Remember, this doesn't mean accepting abuse or it means refusing to let someone else's distorted perception become your problem to solve. The third powerful sentence is, that's your experience, not mine. This sentence directly counters one of the narcissist's most insidious tactics. Guess, when someone tries to convince you that your memory is wrong, your feelings are invalid, or your perception is distorted, they're attempting to colonize your inner world. The Stoics would call this an attack on your hegemonica and your ruling principle or rational mind. It's the ultimate violation because it attempts to make you doubt your own consciousness. When a narcissist says something like, "That never happened," or "You're remembering it wrong," or "You're too sensitive about nothing," they're not really talking about the event itself. They're trying to establish themselves as the authority on your reality by calmly stating, "That's your experience, not mine." You're drawing a clear boundary between their subjective reality and yours. You're not arguing about who is right, you're affirming that to people can have different experiences and perceptions, and neither has the right to override the others. This aligns perfectly with the Stoic understanding that each person's impressions belong to them alone. Marcus Aurelius frequently reminded himself that others' actions and opinions are their business, not his. The narcissist will likely respond with frustration to this sentence because you're refusing to fight for validation of your reality. They might intensify their efforts. "No, you're objectively wrong about this," your response. Repeat the sentence, or simply disengage. This practice builds what the Stoics called apatheia. Not apathy in the modern sense, but freedom from destructive passions. You're not cold or uncaring. You're simply unshaken by someone else's attempts to rewrite your experience. Here's a powerful exercise. Journal about your interactions with the narcissist in your life. Write down your experiences, your feelings, your observations. This creates a record that's harder to gaslight, but more importantly, it reinforces your trust in your own perceptions, which is the foundation of psychological freedom. Your reality is your own. Not because you're always objectively correct, but because your inner experience belongs to you alone. No one can take that away unless you hand it over. The fourth, and perhaps most liberating sentence, is, "I don't need you to understand." This sentence represents the highest level of Stoic freedom-complete independence from others' approval or comprehension. Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. This radical acceptance that not everyone will understand or approve of you is the gateway to authentic freedom. Narcissists often weaponize understanding. They'll say things like, "Make me understand why you feel this way," or "I just need you to explain it better," or "Help me see your perspective." This sounds reasonable, even empathetic, but it's actually a trap. What they're really doing is positioning themselves as the judge of whether your feelings, boundaries, or decisions are valid. They're implying that without their understanding and approval, your position has no legitimacy. When you say, "I don't need you to understand," you're destroying this entire framework. You're asserting that your decisions and boundaries are valid whether or not they receive external validation. This doesn't mean you should never explain yourself or that communication isn't valuable. It means you recognize the difference between genuine mutual understanding and someone demanding that you justify your existence, feelings, or boundaries until they deem them acceptable. A practical example. You tell a narcissist you need space. They respond, "I don't understand why you need space. What did I do? Explain it to me." Instead of getting drawn into an endless explanation that will never satisfy them, you respond, "I don't need you to understand. I'm simply letting you know what I need." The narcissist may escalate. "So my feelings don't matter. You won't even help me understand." Notice the manipulation. They're trying to make your boundary about their feelings. Your Stoic response is to recognize this for what it is. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." Don't feel harmed. And you haven't been. This sentence is particularly powerful because it frees you from the exhausting cycle of over-explanation. Many people caught in narcissistic relationships spend enormous energy trying to make the narcissist understand, hoping that the right combination of words will finally break through. The Stoics would tell you, save that energy. Invest it in your own growth, your own peace, and your own purpose. Now that we've explored these 4 powerful sentences, let's discuss how to integrate them into a comprehensive Stoic approach to dealing with narcissistic people. First, remember that these sentences are not magic spells. They're effective only when they emerge from genuine inner transformation. If you say these words while still being emotionally entangled, desperately seeking the narcissist's approval, or trying to hurt them back, they'll ring hollow. The Stoic path requires you to do the inner work first. This means asterisk, practicing daily reflection, asterisk. Marcus Aurelius filled his journals with reminders about what truly matters and what doesn't. Create your own practice of evening reflection, examining your reactions to difficult people without judgment. Asterisk, strengthening your understanding of what's within your control. Asterisk, you cannot control the narcissist's behavior, but you can control your responses, your boundaries, and your mental space. Asterisk, building your inner citadel. Asterisk, the Stoics spoke of the mind as a fortress that cannot be breached without your consent. Strengthen this fortress through philosophy, self-knowledge, and virtue. Asterisk, developing indifference to external validation. Asterisk is perhaps the hardest work, but it's the most liberating. Practice making decisions based on your values rather than others' approval. Second, understand that using these sentences will likely create turbulence in your relationship with the narcissist. They may increase their manipulation attempts, play the victim, rage, or give you the silent treatment. The Stoics would call this a preferred indifferent. It's not pleasant, but it's not truly harmful to your character or inner peace. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." The narcissist's reaction to your boundaries is an opportunity to practice your Stoic principles under pressure. As we conclude, I want to emphasize something crucial. The goal of Stoicism is not to become cold, unfeeling, or disconnected from others. The goal is to build such strong inner foundations that you can engage with life, including difficult people, without being swept away by destructive patterns. The 4 sentences we've explored today are tools for protecting that foundation. I'm not going to discuss this anymore. Protects your mental energy. You may be right. Frees you from the tyranny of others' opinions. That's your experience. Not mine. Guards your reality from colonization. I don't need you to understand. Liberates you from seeking external validation. These sentences work because they're not primarily about the narcissist. They're about you reclaiming your sovereignty, your peace, and your power. Marcus Aurelius faced manipulative senators, corrupt officials, and countless people who tried to use him for their own ends. Yet he maintained his integrity and tranquility by constantly returning to these principles. I cannot control others, only myself. Others' opinions are their business. My character is my only true possession. You have that same capacity. Right now, wherever you are in your journey, you have the power to choose how you respond to manipulation. You have the ability to set boundaries. You have the right to protect your peace. Start small. Practice one sentence this week. Notice what happens both in the narcissist reaction and in your own inner state. Build from there. Remember, you're not trying to change the narcissist. You're reclaiming yourself. If you found this exploration valuable, please like this video and subscribe for more practical applications of Stoic wisdom to modern challenges. Leave a comment sharing which of these 4 sentences resonates most with you. Or share your own experiences applying Stoic principles to difficult relationships. Until next time, remember what Epictetus taught. No one can hurt you without your permission. You are stronger than you know, and your peace is worth protecting. Stay strong, stay stoic, and stay free.